So I want to talk about this. This is a very, very, very compatible relationship. Okay. Great compatibility. Okay. So it's almost like, if you're with a partner in the kitchen, you don't bump into each other. You don't like inadvertently, say the wrong things. You make a great team. There's great teamwork. There's great friendship. There's great sense of like respect for one another. And then on the other hand, this is a card greatly about opposition. It's about chemistry. It's about like passion. It's also about incompatibility that binds two people together, and incompatibilities that can also make the relationship very, very exciting, but very, very explosive. And so overall, it's great for like a one night stand. It's great for a short term fling, but it's not a great relationship. And I bring this up because of these partnerships type of energies coming up in this spread in these two cards. And so we want to look at the shadow side. I feel like some of you are with somebody who is fiercely, fiercely independent. And I feel almost like you guys are aiming to be like that, or you guys are striving to be like that. And at this point in your life, you admire some qualities in that person. The fact that, they're a trailblazer. They don't really care what other people think. They take care of themselves. They know how to be independent. And you're striving for these qualities, and you might say to yourself, I'm like that. I'm like this. But the bottom line is, I feel that you might have been involved with somebody, and the qualities that you admire, you're kind of projecting them onto yourself rather than innately having these qualities. So it might have been like, just getting swept away in the relationship, losing your sense of self. And I'm sensing that for some of you. And then I'm also feeling as well, wanting to break away from relationships where it's very physically gratifying, but there is zero compatibility, zero promises of, working together, building a future together, creating, a life together. So what you want versus what the relationship is really giving you, I feel like they're definitely at odds with each other. And I'm feeling if you're in a relationship in particular for this month, you're going to be really examining, what you're looking for. And I feel some of you, what you're looking for, and it's okay. What you're looking for, you might just want a fling. You might just want a short-term relationship. You don't want to get bogged down in another long-term relationship where you lose yourself, or where, it might not pan out the way that you hope. So you feel like there's safety when it's short-term, when I see there's an expiration date in sight, when I see there's an end in sight. And I'm sensing that many of you are thinking or rethinking the way that you date, the people that you go for, and you just want something fun, exciting, short-term, rather than something that can be a little bit too, too heavy, too demanding, too emotional. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you are very clear with yourself that that is what you want, then I do feel that we have opportunities coming into the picture for you to date, to socialize, to meet new people. And I especially feel here we have several options on the table. So this is not even supposed to be a love reading, but I feel like it's coming in heavily with this dichotomy between this opposition between, that Libra, Aries axis. And some of you, I'm sensing in the past, you want things this way. You want that happily ever after. You believe in that grand romance. And after, struggling with this grand romance, where there was a lot of work in the relationship, where there was a lot of like, it became like a very heavy relationship, and it didn't give you what you want. It didn't give you that sense of emotional closeness. It didn't give you that sense of homecoming, that sense of like coming home to the person that you love, having a solid, stable future, falling in love, and having, this mutual sense of respecting your partner or having your partner respect you. And so now you're doing this 180 where you're on the opposite end of it, on the flip side of that, where you're just like, I don't want this anymore. This is too much work. It's too emotional. It's too draining. And it's not really giving me what I want. So we're shifting gears 180. It's like a total turnaround. And we're going after these types of relationship, exciting, fun, chemically inducing, very passionate. And I feel as well, you're dealing with somebody. If this is what you're in, you're dealing with somebody who talks big, makes promises, but they're unable to keep them. Okay. And I'm also feeling as well, this is a relationship that's really exciting, but there is a sense of you losing control of the direction of the relationship. So you might have told yourself, I'll just, have a fling, and then you end up losing yourself in it, get swept away, lose yourself in that partnership, hoping that, oh, maybe, there's more to it. And the person that you're dealing with, I just feel like they're not prepared to give you a relationship, because what was started and what was agreed upon was, it's a love affair. That's all it is. It could have involved multiple people. They might have been caught up in another relationship, or they're at a point in their life where they want to date around. They want to have fun. They don't want a commitment. They might be in the same boat as you, where they had this and they don't want it anymore because it's such a heavy emotional experience. They just want to have fun. So I do see that, on the one hand, you might tell yourself, I want to try this out. But I feel like you don't know how to detach yourself from people and from relationships when it's not right for you, when it's proven that it's not right for you. So that's still one area where I feel like it's difficult. Learning to detach yourself from people who are not on the same page, people who don't want the same things, and learning to, not take it personally. Okay. And at the same time, being very, very clear and honest with yourself, being very clear and honest with yourself. Where are things headed? Am I losing myself here? Do I feel in control of the situation? Can I leave anytime I want? Or am I emotionally tangled? Or am I so lost in the relationship that I'm losing my sense of identity? And so if we're around people that are not vibrationally on the same page as us, we can get us swept away in it. And we can also lose our sense of selves. And in the worst case scenario, their values might not align with you. And so you might take on their values. You might take on the things that they like. You might take on their interests. And when they leave the picture, you're going to find yourself kind of like with an identity crisis. Who am I? Who have I been this whole time? How do I get back to myself? How do I regain my sense of personal identity? So there's an identity loss is what I'm sensing. And a lot of the times, if we had a really long-standing relationship with somebody and they leave the picture, it can give us this sense of emotional and physical displacement where we're not really sure, who am I? Who have I been this whole time? Was I playing a role, or was that me? And it can feel very overwhelming. It feels very lost. And it feels like not only have you lost the other person, not only are they no longer in the picture, but now you have to rebuild yourself from scratch. So the trick is not to get swept up in the first place, to look at things through, a filtered lens where you're seeing the reality of it and you don't really lose yourself. Okay. Aries people, I feel like they don't really lose themselves. They always maintain their own sense of individuality in relationships. And the struggle for Aries is to learn to compromise a little bit, give a little bit in relationship. And then from your end, it's more about learning to maintain your own sense of identity, your own sense of financial stability, your own sense of where you stand, what you believe, what you will not compromise on, what your values are, and being mentally, emotionally, and financially independent. So I feel like those are the challenges that you've been dealing with for quite some time. This is the month where one of those challenges is going to fade away. So we have here the start of something new, and this is financial in nature. This is a new job. This is a new opportunity that is kind of like handed to you on a silver platter. And the way that is depicted, it's a really big pentacle. So it's something that is, I want to say like beyond your wildest dreams, but I feel like this is a general reading. The way that I would put this is it has so much potential to grow. It's kind of like a seed. You put it into the soil, you provide the right conditions for it to thrive. So you have to be in an environment where, there's fertile soil. You have to tend to it. You have to work hard at it. You have to take care of it. You have to oversee it, give it, food, water, shelter, whatever it is, every day, day in and day out. And if you treat it well, it's going to grow for you. And I also feel with this new job opportunity, I usually think of it as like a regular 9-to-5 job where you are working under other people. And I'm feeling some of you are just like, oh, this job comes with a lot of work. It's a lot of work to maintain. It's a lot of work to, get off the ground. That's what it feels like. And so you're thinking about all the work that's required that you have to put in. And in the process, you might just say, it's too much and I don't want to do it. But I feel many of you are going to take up this challenge. Many of you are at a point in your life where you want change. You want to be financially independent. You want to be able to take care of yourself. And you don't want to have to, ask and beg and, anybody for financial favors. So I feel like you're going to be taking up these responsibilities. You're going to get things off the ground. You're going to start to build things. And I also feel like, this is like cordoning off this piece so that no one else gets to it. So I feel like, you're on the right track and you're doing the work to create the preconditions so it can thrive. But I do feel some of you are tempted to be like, oh, this is too much work. I'm not at a point where I'm ready. So I'll go back to it later. And then, you get distracted with other things that are a little bit more, like, emotionally enjoyable. And so you might shy away from this hard work. The hard work is required. Okay. So I feel that message here that you need to hear is it's the month for you to get your hands dirty. You need to be elbows deep in grease, in grit and grime in order to get this off the ground. And you need to do it because the alternative is financial insecurity, not making enough money, feeling this sense of lack and feeling this sense of like, we could have done more with our lives. So it's not really a month for premature celebration. We need to put in the work in order to end up here where we are proud of our work, where we can celebrate, where we can, express to other people all the things that we've done in order to get here. So I feel like premature celebrations, it's not a smart move. Put in the work that is necessary to build this new future for yourself. In the process, I feel like, there's going to be a lot of detailed, oriented things that you need to get done. This is a card overall about chemistry, alchemy. And it usually indicates to me like having to do things in a very definitive manner. There's like bookkeeping, tedious stuff, equations, like bookkeeping, equations, accounting, inventory, stocks, making sure that everything is accounted for. And then I feel as well, measurements, doing things so that everything is exact, calibrated. Everything is, I want to say like predictable, standardized. So you have a lot of tedious work that is cut out for you. And I also feel that you're going to do this and you're going to be quite happy. Okay. So we have here the card of Sagittarius, and we have a new moon in Sagittarius on the 18th of December. So I feel like something like that might trickle into the picture or into the equation, into the month for you guys, December 18th. And I feel like some of you might be going on job interviews as well. And the job interviews, if it's a job interview, I just want you to be aware of this, okay? This is a card about, not hyping, not inflating our skills. And especially if you feel like the job is a little bit out of reach, I feel that it's really pertinent for you to be very honest. I might not have the skills, but here are some of the things that I did in the past. So you need to be honest. So don't overinflate. Don't oversell yourself, because they might ask for a demonstration, and then these things will be found out. During Mercury in retrograde periods, whenever there's a lie, it's going to come, it's going to unravel. So I want you to be very, very careful about that, especially if you are like, if you really want a job and there are some criterias that you haven't met yet, and you feel like, oh, maybe I can just, tell a fib and just get away with it. It's just going to be a small lie or a white lie here and there. I don't feel that it's going to be in your favor to do that. Okay. So be very careful. And I'm also feeling as well, it's going to take some dedication. It's going to take some time, and you're going to be at the end of the month feeling very elated because new opportunities are going to be available for you. Okay. So I feel it's a really, really good month. For many of you who are looking to get yourself back on your feet financially, it's going to happen for you. For others of you, there are major decisions here that you really need to make about your relationships. Are you able to let it go despite the years that you spent together, despite this, sense of safety in the relationship? And then I'm also sensing as well, with the Lovers and the Three of Cups, this is third party interfering in a relationship, okay? So I feel like there's a third party type of an energy. You might be dealing with somebody who is a little bit on the manipulative end, and you want to be careful. And I also feel like if you're also in a third party situations, we have two characters that are in the picture, an earth sign and a water sign. So Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, as well as water sign. Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. And so you have some choices cut out, but I do feel like err on the side of caution. The policy here is, just honesty is the best policy. So I feel like in work, in life, in relationships, speak your truth, okay? Don't worry what other people will do. Speak your truth, mainly because the truth does matter. It allows us to operate from a higher vibration, a higher frequency when we are honest and straightforward, and overall honest with ourselves and honest with other people. It's the best policy. It allows trust to be built and respect to grow in a relationship. So I feel like there is a major theme here as well about you needing to live your life in a very authentic way, speaking your truth, not holding back, and aiming to, be on that straight and narrow path, okay? It's hard work, but it is worth it, because ultimately, by the end of our lives, we want to make ourselves, the best possible human being that we can be. You've got like the rest of your life where you are living with yourself. Can you live with the person that you've become? Can you live with the person that you want to become? So these are big questions that we have to ask ourselves. And a lot of it just, boils down to the fact that you have to figure out who you are, who you want to be, and make these difficult decisions to get yourself there. Take these actions to get yourself there. It is not just like a walk in the park, but I feel like this month you have some help, you have some blessings coming into the picture. And so it's best for you to grab these energies and, start working towards your goals. Okay?